Welcome to the EOB podcast, where we talk about the weekend box office and the new openings this week. I'm Benno, and joining me is Sen Dong. So Sen, welcome to another podcast. And are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
I don't want to surprise you.
Yeah, you didn't surprise me this weekend. What did you say last week that surprised me?
Yes, I say welcome to another podcast.
Such a small thing. Gave me so much anxiety to hear you say welcome.
I know. I mean, since I've been doing this, I have much respect to the people who do this, and even live too.
Right.
Takes a lot of skills to not mess up.
Right.
Okay, so we have 4 new releases last weekend. We have Jack Reacher, Never Go Back, Boo, a Madea Halloween, Keeping Up with Joneses, and Ouija, Origin of Evil. 2 of them are sequels, and if you count Madea, 3.
Right, that's true.
So, we thought that Jack Reacher would be the number 1 movie over the weekend, but we were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so coming in number 1 is actually Boo, a Madea Halloween. It pulled in 27.6 million over the weekend, and I think you had it at around 12, and I say 15.
Right, we were both way off. I guess, Madea is still strong. I mean, the last one did okay. It eventually made like 50-something million, which is around how much the Madea's movies usually generate, except for what I think Madea Goes to Jail made like 90 million or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, the last one, it opened to like 16 million. The previous ones opened in the 25 million range, and Madea Goes to Jail was higher. So we thought maybe it's on a downslope, the franchise. But Tyler Perry gave the franchise, the brand, a couple years to breathe, and now it's as strong as ever. 27.6 million.
Yeah, no, it's just that with the exception of like Madea Goes to Jail, all the Madea movies kind of performed decently, kind of, consistent. And, I wouldn't say that, his brand was falling, like it was always there. There's always an audience for this, for a Madea movie. Right, but we didn't know how it's average. Like I said in the previous podcast, the movies average out in the openings between 15 to 20 million. So, but this one overperformed a bit.
Yeah, right, and I guess it just depends on whatever subject matter they want to focus on. The last one was a Madea Christmas, right, or something.
I haven't kept track, so
okay, so
let's look
maybe
it up. You talk while I'll look it up.
So maybe Halloween is a easier subject to spoof than Christmas.
Yeah. The last one was Christmas.
Okay, right. I'm surprised too because the scary movie franchise, it was completely saturated. Like the last couple didn't get an audience at all, and here's a Madea Halloween getting very good, scary movie numbers.
That is true, but I guess Christmas and Halloween are kind of like the 2 biggest spoof holidays.
Maybe Halloween
right?
more. Have they spoofed Christmas a lot? Because Christmas is kind of like this heartwarming, holiday, and I guess Halloween is an easier thing to spoof than Christmas.
Well, it's you could say those movies are kind of like spoof movies because it's always about
families
getting together and the things that went wrong during Christmas.
Yeah, apparently this the whole idea for this the genesis of this outing was because of a joke that Chris Rock made in his film Top 5, from what I was reading.
Okay. Go on, explain the joke.
I don't remember what the joke was, but Chris Rock made a joke. I saw the movie, I forgot about the joke, but apparently after that joke in the movie, Tyler Perry and the executives got together and thought that was an interesting idea. I think he said something like, the next movie's going to be Madea is gonna make fun of Halloween or something in that respect, and Tyler Perry and the executives heard the joke and thought it was a good idea, and they made this movie.
All right, and I guess they were right to follow their instincts.
Yeah, they all owe Chris Rock royalty.
Right, but it's an eventuality if you look at the trend, what they're doing.
Yeah, right.
Christmas. Yeah. Family reunion, witness protection,
Right.
Then we're gonna have Madea, the birth of a nation, right?
True.
You're welcome, Tyler Perry. You can have that.
Right.
All right. Anyway, Tyler Perry, he has this Madea franchise. It is a franchise. It has like 7 movies already.
Yeah, it seems like it can go on forever.
Yeah, typically you lose steam, but this is kind of like a hodgepodge of whatever. There's no rhyme or reason to these movies anyway, right? Just to make fun of these events.
I guess with black comedians, whenever they're in a comedy where they play multiple characters, like in this case, Tyler Perry plays multiple characters, like dang it, I'm getting a blank here. But it seems like whenever these black comedians play multiple characters, they always perform well.
Well, you don't see that many movies where they play multiple, actors play multiple characters anyway. So yeah. But I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it's like them playing multiple characters. It's just the idea of the movie anyway.
All right, what comedian am I talking about?
I know who you're talking about. He has the that cop movie. What was it?
Dang, we're both drawing a blank.
I know. It's due to lack of sleep. Let's look it up. Let's look this up.
All right.
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. How can we forget Eddie Murphy?
Because he hasn't been in anything
in a while. But
yes.
Eddie Murphy has played multiple characters in The Nutty Professor, and even in there's another one. He's done it multiple times, and whenever he does it, box office tends to be pretty good, and that includes. It wasn't one of his popular ones, but it did really well too.
Okay.
It's like one of his worst review films. No bit. So another movie where he plays multiple characters, poorly reviewed, trashed by critics, but it made over 100 million, surprised everyone.
Right. But that was at a time where Eddie Murphy was kind of at his peak.
Yeah, it was at his peak. Yeah, it was during the Nutty Professor period, and he was back on the A-list again. So yeah.
Well, no. Norbit was not at his peak. it was a little bit after that, but he still has a name.
Right.
He was still making movies.
Right.
So okay, I was wrong.
So anyway, it seems like whenever black comedians play multiple characters in a movie, in a comedy, they tend to do pretty well.
I think this probably would only be limited to comedies.
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's go to number 2. Jack Reacher, Never Go Back. It did better than what I projected the movie to do. I thought it would do 15 million, but you said 20 to 25, so you were right there.
Yeah, I was right there. Yeah, worldwide is doing pretty well too. Overseas it grows 31 million. So the worldwide total is 54 million after one weekend at a budget of just 60 million. So this is going to be another. We'll see how it holds up in the following weekends. I can't see it holding up as well as the first film, which opened during the holidays.
Yeah, the reviews were worse than the first film.
Yeah, because of its relatively modest budget. Another hit for Tom Cruise.
Well, it remains to be seen, but yeah. I mean, I had lower expectations of this movie because I said that sequels usually doesn't outperform the first movie, but you say no, it's where the franchise get in trouble by the third movie. But you were right on this one.
It depends. Like the first film was well reviewed, kind of under the radar, but well reviewed, had great legs, performed really well overseas, and it sounds like one of those films that can pick up an audience on home video. That's why I was expecting the second film to do a little bit better. But, it still remains to be seen whether or not it can hold up. I don't think so, and most people probably don't think so. Probably not going to be able to make 80 million like the first film, but hey, this is not a bad opening.
Yeah, that's true. They say that it might not be able to hold up that well, as the first movie, because the first movie had the, the Christmas season.
Yeah, right.
This one is kind of here in October, late October, and then it might be out of theater by then.
Yeah, right. Might be out of theaters by Thanksgiving.
Right. But yeah, let's move on to number 3. Surprisingly, is Ouija: Origin of Evil. pulled in 14 million over the weekend.
Yeah, at a budget of just 9 million. What were we predicting? I mean, the first
Oh,
film
I think
did
you were
20 million,
closer.
right?
No, you say 12 to 15, and I say 10.
Oh, okay. So, I'm way on the mark on another one.
Oh,
But
yep.
I think the first film opened to 20 million, right? Something like that.
Yeah, it opened high.
Yeah, it opened to about 20 million, then it tapped out at about 50 million. So this one didn't do as well, but the first film was also horribly reviewed, completely trashed by critics.
Yep.
And surprisingly, this one, about 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, pretty high, 82%. I wonder if it's because the first film was so crappy that critics saw this one and even if it's just relatively slightly better, they were like, whoa, this is actually watchable.
No, I don't think so. I think they're kind of like independent of each other, right? I mean, they've seen, being a critic, you've seen all sorts of
you see
bad
300,
horror
yeah.
movies,
Right.
and for it to have that good of a reviews, that's pretty good. I mean, it's awesome. Horror movies reviews are usually in the 20s, 40 range percent.
Right. And you usually don't go from universally panned to actually 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's a pretty big jump.
Right. It exceeded my expectations.
Right.
And this movie might actually have some legs, because of the good reviews.
Right. Okay, so Ouija had 7%. The first film has 7% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's from 7% to 82%.
Yeah, it's probably the biggest change from a first movie to the second movie.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. And 14 million isn't too bad. The film was only made for 9 million. The only problem with horror films is that they tend to drop off huge by the second weekend. But this one has great reviews, so I wonder how that's going to affect it.
It might actually stay in theater because it has the Halloween seasons coming up next month.
Oh, right.
Even though they don't go to the movies, but Halloween's fall on a Monday, so who knows, right?
Right. Let's move on to number 4. The Accountant made 14 million over the weekend. It's holding up decent. The drop off is only 43% after 2 weeks. It has already grossed 48 million on a budget of 44 million. Another hit for Ben Affleck.
Yeah, I mean, it might not get the notoriety of his other hits. It won't win any awards, but it's something that kept his name, in the public consciousness. I mean, because they want his name out there.
Yeah, right.
Like I said, he's Batman, and he's a part of one of the pillars of the Warner Brothers cinematic universe.
And despite mixed reviews, it's doing pretty well.
Okay. How about we move on to number 5?
Yeah, another similar thriller. The Girl on the Train. This is more of an erotic thriller than The Accountant. But it grossed 7.3 million over the weekend, and just like The Accountant, is holding up pretty well. The drop off is only about 41%, and it has grossed about 59 million at a budget of 45 million. It's doing numbers that are similar to The Accountant, or we should say The Accountant is doing similar numbers to The Girl on the Train.
Well, The Girl on the Train is actually a little bit behind because
The
Girl on the Train is already in its third weekend.
Right, that's true. It is a little bit behind, but not that far off. Not too bad. Both are thrillers. The Girl on the Train is based on a novel. The reviews are not that great either, but both films are serving an audience and doing pretty well.
Right. Okay, so number 6 is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Yeah, the
Tim Burton.
Yeah, the Tim Burton directed movie pulled in 6 million over the weekend. Domestic gross is 74 million. Let's see, the worldwide take is 224 million on a budget of 110.
Yeah, so it's going to be profitable. It's going to be another Tim Burton film that kind of disappointed domestically, but the worldwide figure is solid.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like it'll cross 100 million domestic, right?
I don't think so. That's why it's a disappointment domestically, but worldwide it's going to be solid.
Right. Okay. And number 7 is the other new releases of the weekend is Keeping Up with the Joneses. It put in 6.5 million. I mean, we were not that high on the movie. I think we both had the movie to open somewhere around. You said 8 and I say 10, and it actually fell below our projections.
Right. Yeah. Again, these the stars that they had. I guess Zach Galifianakis is in a draw. We've seen 2 films released recently starring him in an ensemble that opened in this range. And
But was that Masterminds?
yeah,
Let's see.
Masterminds.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, it is Masterminds.
Yeah, and again, it's all starring actors that hasn't opened movies. They're all kind of like co-stars in bigger films. Like John Hamm, Gal Gadot, Isla Fisher, and in Masterminds, you have Jason Stuckey, the other guy, and the other actors and actresses.
Right. Owen Wilson, Christian Wiig.
Yeah. So it's another one of these. I guess Zach Galifianakis isn't one of those comedians who can headline films.
Yeah, I mean, what you see with all these other movies, right? You usually have an ensemble of comedians, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. And Keeping Up Joneses is one of those movies that seems kind of like funny on paper, but when they're reading the script, but I think once they made the movie, like people just didn't like it. Maybe because, hey, like you said, these people are not, these are not the people that attract people to come to watch the movies. All right, let's move on to number 8, Kevin Hart's What's Now.
Okay.
It's a concert film, him doing stand up in a stadium, and with some scripted scenes inserted into the movie. I guess, like as you say, to make it more cinematic, to make it into like a movie. It pulled in 4.1 million over the weekend. That's the second weekend. So far, it made 18.9 million domestic. The budget is around 10 million. So yeah, it's making money for Kevin Hart.
Yeah, although probably not as much as they would have liked.
Well, but the thing is, like, he already made his money. He did this concert. I mean, he has
right.
in a stadium. People pay him money already to watch him, and this is like profit. And the 9.1, the 10 million thing is just kind of like an advertising budget, for his next movie.
Right. And then on home video, this is gonna, make even more money. So
yep.
So the Kevin Hart brand continues to grow.
And number 9. It's a Warner Brothers animation, Storks. It pulled in about 4 million over the weekend. At 64 million domestic, budget 70. It looks like it'll probably end up in the 75 to 80 million range domestic, right? And the worldwide gross right now is 147 million.
Yeah, so the worldwide figure is pretty good. Domestic figure is not bad too. I mean, not great, but this movie should make their money on home video.
Yeah, I mean, I also want to point out that, hey, it's that figure is good because the budget is good, 70 million.
Yeah, it's not a Pixar movie that costs 200 million.
Right. Okay, let's round out the top 10 with Deepwater Horizon. It pulled in 3.6 million over the weekend. The budget is 110, but the domestic tick so far is only 55 million. And worldwide right now is at 92 million. So it might lose money, or it will lose money for Summit and Lionsgate. Yeah,
and like we mentioned in previous podcasts, this doesn't seem like the kind of film that has that would perform well overseas. I mean, it is an action movie. It is a disaster movie, but the subject matter might not interest people outside of the U.S. So,
well, I think it's only action in a sense that there's this explosion and thing at the end, maybe, right? I mean, other than that, it's just like Mark Wahlberg doing his they're trying to build up the tension and until this explosion.
Right.
So you wouldn't say that it's not that action packed like Wahlberg's and Peter Berg's other collaboration, Lone Survivor.
I think it is. I think it's one of those things where they're trapped and there's stuff falling and exploding, and he's trying to escape. Peter Berg movies they tend to be pretty action-packed. I mean, especially with a $110 million budget, I'm sure there are lots of explosions, lots of things falling, and Mark Wahlberg running around trying to escape being crushed by fallen debris and whatnot.
Okay, all right.
And of course, because it's the location involves water, any film that involves water tends to be pretty expensive. But yeah, this is going to be another, expensive Peter Berg film that's going to lose a lot of money if it doesn't pick up overseas.
And it doesn't look like it's doing that well overseas. I mean, the ticket's only about 37 million. I mean, it hasn't opened in China yet, so we don't know. But it's not one like you said, it's not one of these movies that plays well overseas.
Right.
At least we don't think so.
Right. So kind of a disappointment. I think people were expecting it to do better, but it's not performing up to our expectations.
Right. Okay, so that's it for the top 10. Anything else you want to point out, or should we move on to the new release this weekend? We only have one.
Sure. Let's move on to the new release.
Okay, so we only have one new release this weekend. It's the third Dan Brown adaptation, Inferno, with Tom Hanks and Ron Howard directing.
Right. This franchise, the Da Vinci Code, the original one, although it was a massive success worldwide, it made like 750 something million worldwide. It made like 350 million or something in that range domestically.
217 domestic.
217?
Yep,
was it?
217 domestic.
I thought it was more.
No.
Okay. All right.
You're probably looking at the worldwide figure. I mean, the overseas figure.
Okay. Overseas, it did even better. Way better. But, it wasn't that well reviewed. The first one was trashed by critics, only 25% on Rotten Tomatoes. Angels and Demons opened huge, but it only ended up making like 130 something million. And the reviews were slightly better, around 35%. And this one, I feel like, I'm not sure if people still care, right? Sure, I mean, Tom Hanks kind of did Sully that did really well, but...
as you can see, the trend is moving downwards, right? The first movie did really well. Second movie, as you can expect, kind of like did roughly half the number. Of the first movie, and it took them so long to make this third movie, and I think it's because the second movie didn't perform that well that they have trouble making this movie. Inferno.
Well, the other problem was they were originally gonna adapt a previous one, because Inferno, I think, is the latest one, the latest novel. They were originally gonna adapt I think the one before Inferno is the Lost Symbol. That's right. Yeah, they were previously going to adapt that one, but they ended up changing course and adapting Inferno instead. I guess they want to be more recent.
More recent, or maybe they want to be more commercial, I think.
Yeah, or more commercial, yeah. But, like you said, the franchise is, from the first film to the second film, is a pretty dramatic decrease. Domestically and worldwide. I'm not sure if people have enough appetite for a third one. The weird thing with this franchise is this is one of those novels that reads a lot better than is portrayed in the movie, because when you hear them say the kind of stuff that is on the book, it sounds ridiculous. When you see these actors say it.
Right.
When you read it, it sounds, it reads fine. When you hear Tom Hanks mouthing some of the lines in the book, it just sounds pretty ridiculous. Sounds like a very cheesy, ridiculous, convoluted film.
Yeah, well, it is one of these, I think, mystery novels, kind of thrillers.
Yeah.
So, but I suspect kind of like this movie is made because I think they want to keep the rights to the movie.
I'm not
franchise?
sure. I think despite the huge drop-off in the franchise, it's still, the first one grossed about 750 million worldwide. The second one grossed about somewhere in the 350 or 400 million range. 350 or something.
Yes.
Yeah, and so despite the drop, are still huge numbers. And they feel like if this one can get to 300 million worldwide, they would consider it a success.
The Angels and Demon was made for 150. Worldwide gross is 485.
Oh, so even better, yeah. So you don't turn down a movie that grossed nearly 500 million worldwide. If you're a studio, you continue to milk it. Even if this one does 300 million worldwide, they would still make them a lot of money. Okay, so the first one opened to 77 million. The second one opened to 46 million. And Tom Hanks hasn't opened films with that kind of figure in a while. Well, since these films are, I think, his biggest openings. The trailer looks ridiculous. But I bet it reads really well. Just like, I read both the Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons, and both of them read really well. When you watch the trailers and the movies, they sound pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, of course, yes.
I'll go with 25 million.
Okay, so you kind of agree that the franchise is on a downward slide.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
25 million opening, because that's kind of like almost half of the second movie's opening.
Yeah. I agree. It's gonna drop.
U25. Oh, I think it might. Yeah, I'm kind of with you there, but a tad higher. I'll go with 30.
I mean, the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes are just as bad, 23%. After 60 reviews.
Yeah, we'll see though, because like I want to say that, hey, some time is away from the previous movies, right? And this is the only new release this weekend, right? And Tom Hanks is on sort of a high with Sully as well.
Yeah, although it is another thriller, and it is competing against Jack Reacher and The Accountant.
Yeah, but people forgot about Jack Reacher already, right? And this one is something new. This one is more kind of like a more intellectual man version of Mission Impossible.
Well, they call it more Indiana Jones.
Okay, that too. It's kind of like a mix of those two, where there's like action. Well, yeah, you could say it's like a modern
Indiana Jones. Yeah,
right?
Indiana Jones
without the aliens and supernatural.
Yeah, more number punching. Number punching Indiana Jones.
Right. More conspiracy, more Illuminati and other stuff. So yeah.
Right. We'll see how Tom Hanks as a box office draw is on the ups, but this franchise is on the down. So I wonder how they're gonna meet.
We will see. The thing with Tom Hanks is that he really never got a character that's him. Except maybe for this guy.
Robert Landon? I don't know. A lot of critics felt like he was miscast, even in the first film. They thought his hair looks ridiculous on him. That's why in the second and third film they chopped it off. So a lot of critics thought he's actually the wrong person for the franchise, but because those books sold so well that the films did really well. And despite being in the wrong franchise, there's a built-in audience. They went to see it, even though they're kind of fleeing it pretty in mass droves. And we'll see if enough of them stay for this one.
Yeah, like I said, I say it could perform better than our projections, maybe due to Tom Hanks getting his groove back, and this trailer does seems a bit more plausible, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, his audience read reviews. That's the problem. Older, more mature audience, they read reviews, and the reviews on this film is pretty bad.
Yeah, but we will see. That's why our numbers are kind of low on this movie. But I'm saying, if it outperforms our projections, those could be the reason. Why?
Yeah, right.
It looks to be a better movie. The plot is not that supernatural.
Yeah.
So
even if it makes in our range 25 to 30 million, I think people would consider those figures decent for this franchise because it is on the downward slope,
right.
On a downward trend. So even if it performs those numbers, I think people in the industry would consider those numbers decent if it picks up overseas like the previous films.
Okay. All right. Then we'll see. We'll see this weekend.
All right. See you guys next week.